Kevin Durant used to be the NBA's ultimate trump card. Think back to when he joined the Golden State Warriors, a team that had already won 73 games. The moment he put on that jersey, the league was finished. 2 titles, back-to-back finals MVPs, and a dynasty that looked untouchable. Even when he left, people believed his sheer talent alone could drag almost any team to contention. In Brooklyn, if Kyrie, Irving, and James Harden hadn't imploded, many still believed Durant was enough to deliver a championship. That's how dominant he once was. But fast forward to today, and the reality looks very different. Durant is still great, don't get it twisted, but his impact isn't what it used to be. Just last season, he played 62 games with the Phoenix Suns, yet they didn't even qualify for the expanded 10-team playoff format. That's not the resume of someone who automatically changes the fate of a franchise anymore. Which brings us to the biggest question hanging over the NBA right now. Why is Kevin Durant demanding another maximum contract at age 38? And even bigger, why are the Houston Rockets flat out refusing to give it to him? Here's the situation. Durant is eligible for a 2-year, $119 million extension. That's about $60 million per season. The most he can get under the NBA's over 38 rule, which caps older stars at shorter deals. In the past, this would have been automatic. Teams didn't hesitate when it came to Kevin Durant. He was a max contract without question. But this time is different. Reports from ESPN suggest that the Rockets have no intention of offering Durant anything close to that number. Let that sink in. Houston just made a blockbuster move to trade for him, and instead of locking him in immediately, they're standing firm and essentially daring him to test his leverage. From Durant's perspective, that feels like a slap in the face. From Houston's perspective, it's a calculated risk. So, now the entire league is wondering, will KD accept a smaller deal quietly, or could this turn into one of the most uncomfortable contract standoffs we've seen in years? Make no mistake, contract disputes have torn apart good teams before. Just ask the Minnesota Timberwolves when Jimmy Butler forced his way out by wrecking their practices and torching his teammates in front of the media. Or remember when other stars quietly distanced themselves until the situation got so toxic, a trade was inevitable. Durant, up to this point in his career, has never been in that position. He's always gotten his money, whether it was Oklahoma City, Golden State, Brooklyn, or Phoenix. The max was a given. He didn't have to fight for it. He didn't have to negotiate, and he didn't have to compromise. The only exception was a short discount deal with the Warriors to keep their core intact. But that was his choice, not the team forcing him into it. So how will KD react when for the first time ever an NBA team tells him, "You're not worth the max anymore"? This is uncharted territory, and if history has shown us anything, when stars feel disrespected financially, things get messy fast. One of the biggest wildcards here is Durant's personality. He's not someone who bottles things up. He speaks his mind, sometimes to his own detriment. We've seen it time and time again, especially online. Just last week, Durant was on Twitter at 5 a.m., searching his own name, arguing with random fans about where he ranks all time. And these aren't even verified accounts tagging him. He goes looking for criticism and then engages. One fan told him to get off Twitter for your own mental health, and KD clapped back instantly. Another fan mocked him, saying, "Where's your head going to be opening night when you have to watch your old team raise a championship banner without you?" And what did KD do? He fired back again, sarcastically saying, "Finally, it's been 10 years. About time they won one." Now, Durant later claimed he was just joking, but the point is clear. He doesn't let things slide. If that's how he reacts to random fans online, imagine how he'll handle a front office telling him he's not worth max money anymore. It's not hard to picture things getting ugly quickly. So, let's zoom in on Houston's side of this. Why would the Rockets willingly risk drama with a superstar like Durant? The answer is simple. They're one of the most disciplined front offices in basketball right now. Under general manager Rafael Stone, Houston has mastered the art of the team-friendly deal. Just look at their track record. Alperen Sengun wanted a max. He signed for 5 years, $185 million instead, nearly $40 million below the max. Jalen Green, the former number 1, 2-pick, signed a shorter 3-year extension instead of demanding a full 5. Jabari Smith Jr. will only make about $24 million a year, which is a steal for his value. Even their veterans buy in. Fred VanVleet restructured his contract to give the Rockets more flexibility. Dorian Finney-Smith left the Lakers for Houston on a 4-year deal worth $53 million, but only 2 years are guaranteed. This is not by accident. Houston has created a culture where both young stars and vets accept less money in exchange for long-term growth and flexibility. And in today's NBA, under the new collective bargaining agreement, that's priceless. Here's why team-friendly contracts are more valuable than ever. Under the NBA's new second apron rules, teams that overspend aren't just paying luxury taxes, they're losing flexibility entirely. If you go over the limit, you can't add depth, you can't use trade exceptions, and you basically freeze your ability to improve the roster. Teams like Boston are even tearing apart championship cores just to get under that apron. So, in this new reality, giving Durant $60 million at 38 years old could cripple Houston's future. One bad contract doesn't just hurt, it destroys your depth, your ability to adapt, and your chance to compete. The Rockets understand this better than almost anyone. And that's why, no matter how much star power Durant still has, they're not willing to jeopardize their long-term plan with an overpay. Now, some might argue, but Houston traded for Durant. Don't they have to extend him? Normally, yes. But look at what they actually gave up. Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick in the draft, and some second-rounders. On paper, that sounds like a haul, but in reality, none of those pieces were franchise-altering. Green was a former second overall pick who never lived up to expectations. Brooks brought toughness, but Houston had plenty of defensive wings. And the 10th pick? The Rockets didn't even have room for last year's number 3 pick, Reed Shepherd. They weren't going to prioritize another project. So, while they did give up assets, it wasn't the kind of all-in trade that leaves a team desperate to extend the star. If Durant leaves after 1 year, Houston still has control of multiple first-rounders from the Nets, Suns, and Mavericks, plus their own. They're in position to pivot quickly if they need to. Durant simply doesn't have the leverage he thought he did. Here's the wrinkle that explains everything. The Rockets are quietly building toward 2027. If you look closely at their salary cap books, the clues are obvious. Only 5 guaranteed contracts are on the books for that summer. Even Jabari Smith Jr.'s deal is structured to dip in 2027 before spiking back up, something you almost never see. That's not an accident. Houston clearly wants the flexibility to either chase a superstar free agent in 2027 or lock in their rising star, Amen Thompson, if he continues to develop into an elite guard. Durant, in this context, isn't the final piece. He's a bridge. He's meant to keep them competitive in the short term, while they position themselves for something much bigger down the line. This is the part that may sting for KD. On every team he's joined, he was the centerpiece. The Warriors were Steph's team, but KD was the Finals MVP. In Brooklyn, he was the leader. In Phoenix, he was the centerpiece of a desperate win-now push. But in Houston, he's just part of the story. He's not the end goal, he's not the franchise's future, and he's not the final piece to a championship puzzle. And that's why the Rockets are refusing to bend. They believe they can still win big in the short term, but they're not going to pay Durant like he's their foundation. For the first time in his career, Kevin Durant is about to get a wake-up call about just how much his value has changed in the NBA. So, where does this leave us? The Rockets are betting on their culture, their discipline, and their long-term vision. Durant is betting on his reputation, his pride, and his ability to still command superstar money. Both sides are dug in, and the result could define Houston's next chapter. Will KD swallow his pride and take less? Or will he make things uncomfortable and try to force Houston's hand? One thing's for sure, this is not the same Kevin Durant who once controlled the league's balance of power, and the Rockets just proved they're not afraid to remind him of that. So, now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Rockets are making the right move by refusing Durant's max demands? Or are they underestimating a superstar who still has something left in the tank? Is this the beginning of another messy KD storyline? Or will both sides find common ground before the season tips off? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I always read what you guys have to say. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more NBA deep dives, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.